Hello and welcome to English Practice Hub. Today's video is very special because it talks about one of the biggest problems English learners face. I can understand English, but I can't speak. If this sounds like you, do not worry. You are not alone. Many learners can listen and understand, but when it is time to speak, they feel nervous, they forget words, or they stay quiet. In this lesson, we will talk slowly, simply, and clearly. We will explain why this happens, and we will share tips that will help you move from only understanding to also speaking. In this video, you will learn why your brain understands English but your mouth stays silent, how daily listening can turn into speaking confidence, simple phrases you can start using today, easy practice methods to build your speaking step by step. This is not just a lesson. This is also listening practice. So I want you to sit back, relax, maybe lie down and just listen to my voice. Let the words flow into your ears. Do not translate. Do not stress. Just listen, feel the rhythm, and allow the language to enter your mind naturally. If you keep listening to videos like this every day, your brain will start to think in English and speaking will become easier. So stay with me until the end of this video, because you will get both motivation and practical tools to change your English journey. And before we start, remember to subscribe to English Practice Hub. By joining us, you will get daily listening stories, simple English lessons, and speaking practice ideas. Together, we will improve step by step. Now let's begin. 1. Why I can understand but I can't speak. Many learners have the same problem. They can listen to English, watch movies, or understand their teacher. But when it is time to speak, they feel blocked. The words are in their head, but they cannot come out of their mouth. Why does this happen? The first reason is simple. Listening and speaking are different skills. When you listen, you only receive information. Your brain works like a camera. It sees the words, it understands the meaning, but it does not need to produce anything. When you speak, it is different. Your brain must choose the right words, put them in the right order, and send them to your mouth in real time. This is much harder. So, it is normal that you can understand more than you can speak. The second reason is practice. Many learners spend hours listening, reading, and studying grammar, but they spend very little time speaking. Think about it. If you only watch football but never play it, can you be good at playing? No. The same is true for English. If you only listen and never speak, your listening becomes strong but your speaking stays weak. The third reason is fear. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes. They worry about grammar, about pronunciation, about sounding wrong. This fear makes the brain freeze. Even if you know the words, you stay silent. But remember, mistakes are part of learning. Children make mistakes when they learn their first language and nobody laughs at them. You should not be afraid to do the same in English. Another reason is translation. Many learners try to translate from their first language into English before speaking. This takes time. Your brain is busy translating, so your mouth stays quiet. That is why listening practice is so important. When you listen every day, your brain starts to think directly in English. Then speaking becomes faster. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are in a shop. The shopkeeper asks, "Do you need a bag?" You understand the question. You know the words. But if you try to translate from your own language, you stop. You think, how do I say yes? How do I say no? By the time you finish translating, the moment is gone. But if your brain already knows the answer in English, you can say it quickly. Yes, please, or no, thank you. So, the problem is not that you are bad at English. The problem is that your speaking muscle is weak. It needs training. Just like in the gym, if you never use a muscle, it stays small. If you train it every day, it becomes strong. Speaking is the same. There is also a scientific reason. Your passive vocabulary is bigger than your active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary means words you can understand. Active vocabulary means words you can use. Most learners have a large passive vocabulary but a small active one. The solution is simple. Practice turning passive words into active ones. Use them in speaking, even in small sentences. Think about this. You can probably understand the word environment. But can you make a sentence with it quickly? If not, that word is passive. The way to make it active is to use it. Say, I want to protect the environment. Say it again and again until it comes naturally. This is how you move from understanding to speaking. So, why can you understand English but not speak? Because listening and speaking are different. Because you practice more listening than speaking. Because you are afraid of mistakes. Because you translate too much. And because your active vocabulary is smaller than your passive vocabulary. The good news is you can change this. And in the next part of this lesson, I will show you how. 2. How to train your speaking muscle. Now that we understand why you can listen but not speak, let us talk about the solution. How can you train your speaking muscle? How can you move from only understanding to speaking with confidence? The answer is simple. Practice every day in small steps with no fear. The first method is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and then repeating it immediately like a shadow. For example, if you hear, I am going to school, you repeat, I am going to school. You do not wait, you do not translate, you just copy the rhythm and the sound. At first it feels strange, but if you do this every day, your mouth learns to move faster. Shadowing trains your speaking muscle just like lifting weights trains your body. The second method is to speak to yourself. Yes, it may feel funny, but it is powerful. When you are alone in your room, talk about what you are doing in English. For example, say, I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. I am opening the window. These are simple sentences, but they train your brain to think in English and your mouth to produce the words quickly. The more you talk to yourself, the more natural it becomes. The third method is recording your voice. Take a short text or a story, read it out loud and record yourself. Then listen to the recording. At first, you may not like your voice, but it will help you. You will notice your pronunciation, your pauses, and your mistakes. You can try again and improve each time. Recording makes your progress visible, and it gives you confidence. The fourth method is to use daily speaking routines. For example, every morning choose 3 sentences and say them out loud. Today is a good day. I will study English. I will do my best. Repeat them every day. These sentences become part of your active vocabulary. Over time, you can add more. This is like going to the gym every day, but for your speaking. The fifth method is to focus less on grammar and more on communication. Many learners stop speaking because they think, what if my grammar is wrong? But remember, the goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. Even if you make mistakes, people will understand you. Think about children. They speak with mistakes all the time, but they communicate. You can do the same. Speak first, correct later. Another method is to practice with questions and answers. Take simple questions like, what is your name? Where do you live? What did you eat for lunch? Answer them again and again. The repetition builds speed. Then make the questions more complex. What do you usually do on weekends? Why do you want to learn English? Practice answering these until they feel easy. Also, reading out loud helps. Take a simple book, an article, or even subtitles and read them with your voice. Reading silently is good for the brain, but reading aloud is good for the speaking muscle. It connects your eyes, your brain, and your mouth at the same time. The last and most important method is consistency. Speaking is like a plant. If you water it every day, it grows. If you forget it for weeks, it becomes weak. The same is true with speaking practice. Even 5 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a month. Small steps every day are more powerful than big steps once in a while. So, how do you train your speaking muscle? Shadow sentences, speak to yourself, record your voice, use daily speaking routines, focus on communication, practice questions and answers, read aloud, and most importantly, be consistent. If you do these things little by little, your mouth will become faster, your confidence will grow, and you will move from understanding to speaking. Remember, speaking is not a gift, it is a skill. And like every skill, it can be trained. 3. Daily habits to think in English. If you want to speak English more easily, you must also learn to think in English. Thinking in English is the bridge between listening and speaking. When you think in English, you do not translate from your language. The words come directly, and speaking becomes faster and more natural. But how can you build this habit? Let us talk about simple daily routines that will help you. The first habit is to label your world in English. Look around your room. You see a table, a chair, a book, a window. Say the words in English. This is a table. This is my chair. That is a book. I see the window. You can even put small notes on objects with their English names. Every time you look at them, your brain connects the word with the object. Over time, you will not need translation anymore. You will see the object and the English word will appear in your mind automatically. The second habit is to describe what you are doing. For example, when you wake up, say, I am opening my eyes. I am getting out of bed. I am brushing my teeth. I am drinking water. These are simple sentences, but they train your brain to think directly in English. You do not need anyone else for this. You can do it alone, quietly in your mind or out loud. If you practice every day, your inner voice will slowly change to English. The third habit is to keep a short diary in English. At the end of the day, write 3 or 4 sentences about what you did. Today I went to school. I ate lunch with my friend. I studied in the library. I watched a movie. Do not worry about mistakes. The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is to practice putting your thoughts into English words. If you do this every night, your writing and speaking will improve together. The fourth habit is to ask yourself questions in English. For example, when you are walking, think, what am I doing now? Then answer, I am walking to the bus stop. Ask, what will I do later? Answer, I will cook dinner. Asking and answering simple questions trains your brain to stay in English. It is like having a small conversation with yourself. The fifth habit is to replace small daily actions with English. For example, when you write a shopping list, write it in English. When you set reminders, set them in English. When you watch a movie, turn on English subtitles. These small actions make English part of your real life. The more you connect English to daily life, the more natural it becomes. Another habit is listening actively every day. Do not just play English in the background. Focus and repeat. For example, choose a short video, listen carefully, and then repeat what you hear. Active listening makes your ears sharper and helps your brain catch words faster. Finally, surround yourself with English. Change your phone language to English. Follow English pages on social media. Listen to English songs. The more you see and hear English, the more your brain accepts it as normal. When English feels normal, speaking becomes easier. These habits may look small, but they are powerful. One label on a chair, one sentence in a diary, one question to yourself. All of these are small drops of practice. And small drops every day make a big ocean of fluency. So, if you want to think in English, do not wait for big study hours. Use daily habits. Label your world. Describe your actions. Write a diary. Ask questions. Replace small actions. Listen actively. Surround yourself with English. If you follow these steps, your brain will slowly stop translating. You will think in English. And when you think in English, speaking will feel simple, natural, and free. From fear to confidence. Many learners understand English when they read or listen, but when it is time to speak, they freeze. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? What if I forget the word? These fears are very common, but they are also the biggest wall between you and fluency. If you want to think in English and speak naturally, you must first change your mindset. Remember this. Mistakes are not your enemy, they are your teacher. Every time you make a mistake, you are learning something new. Children do not speak perfectly when they learn their first language. They use wrong grammar, they forget words, they repeat. But no one stops them. And slowly, with practice, they become fluent. You are the same. Allow yourself to be a learner. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes after speaking many times. The more you practice, the more comfortable you feel. First, you may feel shy. But every sentence you say is a step forward. Do not wait until you are perfect. Start now with simple words, simple sentences, and let fluency grow step by step. Another important idea is patience. Thinking in English is not a one-day change. It is like planting a seed. You water it every day with small habits, and one day you see a tree. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not say, he speaks better than me. She learns faster than me. Everyone has their own road. Your only job is to take the next step today. Also celebrate your progress. Maybe last month you could not describe your day in English. Now you can say, I wake up. I brush my teeth. I go to school. That is progress. Maybe last week you learned 5 new words. That is progress. Celebrate these wins. Small victories give you energy to continue. To build more confidence, practice speaking out loud, even when you are alone. Stand in front of the mirror and talk. Record your voice and listen. Read English texts and repeat them slowly. You do not need a partner for every practice. You are your first conversation partner. The more your mouth moves in English, the more natural it becomes. And do not forget, thinking in English is not about speed. At the beginning it will feel slow. You will pause, you will search for words. That is okay. Every time you try, your brain builds faster connections. Soon, the words will come without effort. You will notice one day you are no longer translating. You are simply thinking in English. Now let us imagine your future. Imagine you are in a meeting, in a classroom, or traveling abroad. Someone asks you a question in English, and you answer quickly, clearly, with no fear. They smile and understand you. In that moment you will realize all the small steps, all the habits, all the mistakes, they brought you here. You are fluent because you never stopped. So my advice to you is simple. Practice daily, think positively, and never give up. English is not just a language. It is a door. A door to new opportunities, new people, new worlds. Every time you practice, you are opening that door wider. This was our session about thinking in English and building confidence. I hope you felt motivated and ready to practice. Remember, the more you surround yourself with English, the faster you will grow. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you want more simple, slow, and effective English listening practice, subscribe to our channel English Practice Hub. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Stay consistent, stay motivated, and keep practicing every day. This is the way to fluency. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.